All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in NorCal Sports Network. Little Sunday afternoon. Spring training. Giants split squad today. Playing the Padres at home. And that game, last I checked, was in the top of the ninth. And I believe that game may have just come to an end. Nope, still going on. 7-4, Giants lead it, top of the ninth, 1 out. And they come back with 4 runs in the top of the ninth against Chicago in Mesa and win that ball game. Giants are 10-3 on the spring. Yeah, it's only spring training, but beats the alternative of getting your heads beat in. All right, we'll talk about it. We may have some special guests joining us today. We'll see if they're able to make it. Possibly Larry Krueger, possibly Marty Lurie, possibly Eric Romo. There's some invites out, but guys, this show's brought to you by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give them a call for all your legal needs. 415-613-9483. Chapman Law Group. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, guys. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. We'll see. The guests join us Sunday afternoon. People are busy, but I love watching baseball, whether it's spring training or if it's the regular season, obviously the playoffs. Heck, I'll go out and watch anything baseball, high school baseball, little league baseball. I love just watching the game. And to me, this is the time of year baseball gets, hope springs eternal, as they say, right? And Giants are playing well, people. 10-3, 3 ties. I just like the fight I'm seeing. I like the attitude. And I'll play you a few highlights that I took off the phone today, off of the game, just to give you an idea what's going on in there. Devontae Adams to the Rams, 2-year deal. Interesting. Okay. Well, there we go. There's a lot of football news coming this week, guys. A lot of free agents going to be signing this week. So tune in to the Krug Show on that. You will get all kinds of football news there. We'll have some football news as well as Golden State Warriors basketball. But right now, Giants, playing well. I don't know if Marty Lurie will join us today or not. He's on his way home from Scottsdale. He saw that game. Maybe he'll be able to give us a little report if he jumps in. I did watch the Cubs-Giants game, and, let me pull up some box scores first. I'll tell you there was a couple things I really liked in the game I saw, and I really like what I saw out of Casey Schmidt and him and Ceballos. He drilled that ball in the top of the ninth. But I'm going to pull up the box score here for us in the game that was with the Cubbies. Padres game still going on in the ninth inning in Scottsdale. Okay, Giants were down 2-0 or 1-0, tied it in the top of the second on a Casey Schmidt home run. Landon Roop did not have his best stuff today. He got hit pretty decent. He went almost 4 innings. I think he threw 63 pitches, if I remember correctly. Gave up 5 runs. Now, here's something in baseball that's kind of interesting. Roop hit a batter in the top of the bottom of the fourth, and I'm trying to remember who came on in relief. I think it was Lucchese. Lucchese hit a guy with 2 out, and that made runners on first and second, and then he gives up a hit. Now, isn't it kind of funny that run goes to Roop? Think about this, guys. How about if a guy, let's say the starting pitcher, in this case, we'll use Landon Roop. He puts a runner on base, all right? And he leaves with 2 out. And he gets a guy, however he got on, bunt, walk, whatever, single. He's on first base, 2 outs. He leaves the game, and the preceding pitcher comes in to walk 3 guys in a row. That run goes to the starting pitcher, Roop in this case, which is, it's kind of a crazy rule in a way. I get it. I understand you have to give it to somebody. But so I guess what I'm saying is Roop's 5th run was kind of weak. It goes against his ERA. And we bring in Eric Romo. Eric, welcome on in.
What's up, Dan?
Hey.
What's up, chat?
Both of us watched the Giants-Cubs game today.
Yep.
And don't ask us how we watched it.
I know, right? The magic of technology.
Yeah. But and hey guys, if you're just joining tonight and you know, this is going to be 45 minutes to an hour max here. So we'll go, but we've got a show tonight at 8:00.
Yep.
Called the Hot Corner, where Eric and I will come on with our co-host Glenn, with Eric and Lou Marsh and myself. So there'll be 4 of us talking Giants baseball. But Eric, I liked a few things I saw today in this game. How about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest one, I don't know if you've already talked about him, Casey Schmidt, right?
Yeah, Casey.
Man.
In fact, you know what? I'll bring up some highlights here, guys.
Go for it.
I didn't get Casey's home run, but I do have a gem from the field that I didn't catch it live. I caught it on. All right, here it is. You can see that. I'll show it again. This was a grounder to the hole, and he slid over, grabbed it. Look how quick he gets up and delivers a strike. They didn't show the replay. Here it is. All right. Just boom. Look at his quick feet. Boom. Up and over and boom. Look how quick that release is,
It's
guys.
pretty damn quick. His transition's really quick.
You're looking. I want you to watch this again, because as you see, he's already, as he's spinning in throwing position. Watch this in slow. Look, he's up. Ball.
Look
where the hand is as he spins his throwing hand. There it goes, right to the glove.
Right
Boom.
to the glove.
The home run in the 9th inning, guys, from Sabalas. Here, wait, this is where it started over again. This is depth.
Good to see the kids getting called up, you know, from the minor league camp and
right
at bats with the big club.
Yeah, I mean, and you had the split squad happening today. George says, nice play by Schmidt. Too bad Chapman is unable to make that play. A little facetious there, being obviously Chapman can make that play.
Right.
But Giants win both today. The final score just ended in Scottsdale. Giants win over the Padres 7-4. And in that game, we can bring up we didn't finish the box score for the Giants Cubs here.
As you're bringing it up, talking about Schmidt, you know, he's making a hell of a case to at least be a bench player, right? At least.
Right.
I know there's some talking. I was a little bit worried, you know, with Brett Wisely, because he has that damn left-handed bat. It kind of, I thought it would put him a little bit above a Schmidt, but Schmidt is out there. He's doing well, right? It's not like he's tearing it up, but he's having a decent spring, and he's got some power.
Yeah. I got to show you this response. Some guy, I mean, you can see there Schmidt's hitting 286 here, or the 286. I love people on Twitter. Let's bring up this guy on Twitter that people are. Let me see if I can find the the remark here. Let me pull it up here.
And here's another thing. Not to get hyperbolic, but hey, maybe he makes a play for second base. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, the Giants have been fortunate. No big injuries in the spring except for Tom Murphy, and that's one you can deal with.
Right.
Right. Hey, there we are.
Hey,
live. Hey, wave. Hey. Let's see if I can find this comments here. Casey Schmidt. All right, let's go to the where's the comments? How do we find the comments?
You got to click on your actual tweet. There you go. Right. Now you'll be able to see them.
Dudes, he's hitting 100. Put the beer down. That's what the guy told me. And my response, you obviously don't follow the Giants very, very closely, or you don't know math, or both. Get a clue. And I circled his batting average. Hitting 100. The guy's hitting almost 300 on the spring. Okay. So KY14.
Yeah, you're going to get that. You're going to get that.
You get it's just kind of funny. Whatever. So it's Soler cash dump. So yeah, Mitchell and Ness Giants are 10-3. Hey, look, it's only spring training, but it beats what would we be saying if they were 3-10? Here we go again.
All right. That's how it is, right? This is the problem because this is all we have, right? This is all we got to go on is spring training baseball. This isn't the regular season, so you kind of, and yes, it's practice. We're talking about practice, and I get that. But you want to at least see guys out there doing something, right?
Yeah.
The record doesn't matter, but you want to see guys out there doing something. That's what's important.
Exactly. Hey, by the way, Eric and I, obviously we have, we are on competing channels here on YouTube, Giant Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network, but we're also competing. How many days you got there on the gruff, man?
Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, come on.
What is that, an hour? What is that, an hour?
No, it's only been about
2 hours?
This is about a week.
Oh, I'm only on day 3.
Yeah, you're getting there. Look at that.
Yeah. Hey, all gray, man.
Hey, that's okay.
Hey, day 3. My wife's gone. There's nothing, it's
well, there you go, right? Yeah.
I didn't shave the day before she left. I thought, well, then I was going to shave yesterday. I thought, you know what? Let's let it go. See what happens for a week. Maybe if I can deal with it. It depends on if it starts
itching.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So
did you talk about pitching yet as far as Roop and
no, I haven't talked much about Roop. I was just saying right before you came on that he did give up 5 earned runs today.
Yeah.
The fifth run was kind of, he hit a guy and then Lucchese comes in, hits a guy, and then gives up a hit. So, I mean, that 5th run, he goes all the way from first and gets all the way to come around, and he gets, credit with he gets the ding for the run. It's kind of a weird thing. I was just saying, if a guy gave up 1 runner when there was 2 outs and he had to leave the inning, and the next guy comes in and walks 3 in a row,
right?
It's not even his run.
I know.
Imagine you walk 3 and then you get a pop out or something, and it's like, hey, look at my ERA.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, but if the other guy comes in and doesn't exactly get it, then you're in a tough spot. But Roop, I mean, now Hicks, I could kind of understand, right? He's playing against a division rival in the Padres. He probably is not showing them everything that he has. Maybe he's just trying to get some work in, build up his arm strength. So I'm not going to be too hard on Hicks at this particular time because, again, you don't want to give away state secrets. That's just that would be dumb on his part. Now Roop, on the other hand, you're facing the Cubs. You're not going to see them a whole lot during the regular season. So yeah, that was a little weird. You don't like to see it, but again, it's still spring training.
Yeah, you wonder, does this open up the door more for Birdsong or Harrison? Harrison had a rough outing the other day.
He sure did.
So, I mean, to me,
Birdsong really hasn't had a stinker so much, right?
To me, you've got Birdsong and Harrison and Roop, 3 guys, and they're competing for 1. I don't know why they just didn't say, hey, 3 guys, and Hicks, we got 4 guys competing for 2 spots. Why give Hicks a guaranteed spot. I would have just given Webb, Verlander, and Ray and say, hey, these are the 3 veteran guys, and let all 4 of those other guys are really young pitchers that have, as far as starting pitchers, and no one's proven themselves as a consistent starter.
Right.
Let them duke it out in spring. Competition is good. It breeds more, I believe, success.
And guess what? That's, you kind of let the cat out of the bag. We're going to be talking about that tonight in the Hot Corner. Who's going to lock down that 5th? It's going to be interesting. And to be honest with you, we've talked about this, and I'm pretty sure you have. I think the 4th position should be a competition as well, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I mean, again, it's like you said, it's competition. Look, competition, it shouldn't just be for the young guys. It should also be for some of these veterans. Sometimes you got to light a fire on these guys' butts to get them to quote unquote compete, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need that little kick in the butt. Not saying that's the case, but it's nice just to see that damn competition, both for the 5th and the 4th and the 5th.
Right. I'm going to pull up just real quick that we'll go over both box scores. This is the Cubs game that you and I watched. Okay, so Meckler. Oops, what happened there? What did we lose? What happened?
Sometimes you have to unzoom it. Sometimes you have to unzoom it and zoom it back in. It's a pain in the butt.
Okay. Yeah, all right. There we go. Come on. All right. Let me go back down here. Here we go. Box score. Okay. Is this showing now?
Yeah, you're good. Now you just got to zoom.
All right.
You're good.
So Meckler, it's funny. Tibbs, I saw Tibbs. I made a comment to Eric during the game.
Yeah.
Tibbs is a short-legged guy, just like Meckler. It's kind of funny when you watch it. He's not a big guy at all. He's got very short legs, and he took a key walk in the 9th inning, but he also took what I thought was called strike 3, and they didn't call it when the game would have been over. And he walked, and then Sagowski, however you say it, the backup catcher.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be probably starting in Double-A, be the catcher down there. He hit a nice base hit to right field, and then that brought up Ceballos, who hit the 3-run homer. Mm-hmm. Giants were down 6-4 going into the 9th, scored 4 runs. But standouts today for me, obviously we talked about Casey Schmidt. Schmidt was 2 for 3 with a nice base hit, went to right field, hit a hard ball through the first and second base hole, got into right field, and he also homered. And so he's having quietly a decent spring. 286, got a 714 slugging percentage. I don't know what his on-base percentage is. I'll have to check that. I think his on-base percentage, let's see if we can
should be right there, right?
It's not in that box score, but it is in the other box score on the Giants page, and his on-base percentage for the spring is they got OPS 1,000. Is that for the spring?
Wow.
1,000 OPS for the spring. Wow, Casey Schmidt having it. I'm sure Chapman is probably having a good spring too, though. If you look at Chapman's spring, Chapman is hitting 529. Oh gosh, his OPS is outrageous. 1887.
Yeah, he's smashing the ball all over the place.
Yeah,
which is good to see. You want to see that, right?
Hey, I would love to see Matt Chapman have an 800 plus OPS during the season. That would just be,
that would be awesome.
Fantastic.
And I think that last year, I don't think, was there anyone that had an 800? I think only Tyler Fitzgerald, I think, is the only one that had an 800 OPS last year. And he finished the season kind of on the downside.
Mitchell and Ness says, Dan and Lou think Giants will be bad this year. What's your take, Eric? I don't know if you've been listening to me, Mitchell. I just said in the last day or so that they could be. I think they're going to have a winning season. I haven't made my predictions yet, but I believe this team could win 5 to 7 more games than they won last year, and they won 80. So I'm going to wait and make my judgment on the 26th on our show that we do predictions on the 26th. But I want to see how they do the next 2 weeks with injuries, see how things are going, how they're going to break camp. Because if they stay healthy, I think this team, Mitchell and Ness, could be a surprise. I just let you know, right now, if I was picking today, I'm leaning toward the Giants maybe finishing third, because I don't know if the Padres will have a very good season. I think the Padres situation is
and you know, that's a great thing that you brought that up. And Mitchell Ness, I've been saying they've been. I thought they're going to finish around 84 plus or minus, a couple of games. That's my thought. Again, I think they're going to be better and I think Dan, you've talked about it. Once you got Farhan out of there, it's going to make a big difference because you got a different baseball philosophy. You got a guy that knows what's going on. Again, he still has work to do as president of baseball operations. I'm not going to say that he doesn't, because he's still got stuff to work on, but he brings in a philosophy that I think is going to pay dividends for the club. And I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be around 84. That's better. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but again, in a baseball season, crazier things have happened, but I'm just saying, I think they're going to be better. I just don't think they're quite at that playoff contention yet. Now, as far as the San Diego, what you're talking about, I thought the same thing too, Dan, because of the ownership thing. It's a little bit weird, but the San Diego Padres still got a really good team. They lost Profar, right? He was a big factor last year.
Right, but they picked up a couple guys.
But you still got Machado and Merrill and Tatis and Cronenworth and Arias and Bogarts. You still got a good team. Your starting rotation. You picked up Nick Pivetta. Guy's a strikeout guy. Now he gives up some runs, but he's a strikeout guy. You still got Dylan Cease. You still got Michael King. You still got Yu Darvish, right? The bullpen is a damn good bullpen. Yeah, they lost Tanner Scott, but their bullpen is still really good. So I'm not going to sleep on the Padres. They're still going to be there. But yes, there is still that underlying issue with the ownership. But to a certain extent, that shouldn't affect the play on the field unless the guys aren't getting paid. Right?
Yep.
And then,
Jonathan, this is what I said on the show. You've probably been listening to me if you heard me. I think I just said this yesterday. Giants could win 90 and could lose 90. They really are a team. And you can't say that for a lot of teams. You can't say that for the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves, teams like that. I think the Diamondbacks, that would be hard for the Diamondbacks to lose 90. But the way things go with the Giants, if they stay very healthy and they learn to cut down on Ks, they could be closer to that 90 win. Now, if they have some key injuries and they get into the habit of swinging for the fences again and they're striking out with runners in scoring position all over, yeah, they could lose 90.
Right. 100%.
So what do we got here?
That's weird,
Payton, 616, Giants win 90. Yeah, right. It's not likely, Payton. I'm not saying anything. I wouldn't put any money on the Giants winning 90 unless you gave me incredible odds. But baseball's a funny thing. Who predicted the Giants to win 107 games in 2021? I bet you nobody had them winning 90 that year.
Right.
I would have never predicted the Giants to win more than 90, probably 87 games going into the 21 season. And things, look, certain people are winners. Buster Posey's a winner. Steph Curry is a winner. Guys that are like that, they just rub off. And when guys win when they and they just have a way of whatever they touch turns into gold. I'm not saying the Giants are going to be a playoff team. I just think they'll be more entertaining. Look,
More entertaining.
They still could finish under 500, but I think they'll play a better brand of baseball this year.
I would agree with that. Yes, I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, they'll just play a better brand of baseball, and I think they're going to be more entertaining and more pleasant to watch this year. Look, they got guys with some character and leadership skills. You've got Adames and Chapman. Hey, one thing I did like, Eric, in the game at against the Padres today, because Wade was over in the game against the Cubs leading off, the Giants batted Elliot Ramos in the leadoff spot today.
That's weird.
And I kind of like it.
Do you?
And I'll tell you why. Because he could set the tone with a hard hit ball. Maybe he gets a double or he just gets on base. He's a base stealing threat. I think he can also lead the game off with a home run.
He could.
So I like that. I also wouldn't mind seeing Fitzgerald in the leadoff spot if he can cut down on the Ks. 31.6% last year. Fitzgerald's got to get under 25 because he's not a 30 home run guy. Okay. I mean, I don't even know if Fitzgerald, he hit 15 or whatever he hit last year in not a full season. I'm still not sure if Fitzgerald is a 20 plus homer guy. He's probably right around that 17, 18 mark, but he's got to cut down on his Ks. I can live with guys making 25% strikeout rate, but they better be hitting close to 25 homers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have guys striking out at that rate and having, hitting 15 to 16 homers or even less. So I don't know. That's just, I think it was a good experiment. That's what you can do in spring training, especially when you have split squad games.
Right. You could see how they,
Here's the Giants lineup. Let me pull this up for today. The other game that we didn't talk about against the Padres. I think it was an interesting lineup. Minus Wade, I think it's your opening day lineup, guys.
Yeah, they did that. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago.
They did. Okay, it was even yesterday. Yeah. All right. Here's pretty much your starting lineup, but I'll show you it's a little different. Okay, Giants. They had Ramos, Adames, Lee,
and Chapman. That's about how it's going to be.
Yeah. Flores was at first base because Wade was out of the game. So think of this as against the left-hander. And then Bailey, and then Yaz, and then DHing was Encarnacion, and then Wisely was at second. So not a bad. I kind of like seeing Ramos in that leadoff spot. And with that, look who joins us, the great Marty Lurie. All right, welcome, Marty.
Hey guys, how are you?
Great. Hey, Marty, just getting back from Scottsdale. We're just talking about this game, the Padres and the Giants. Tell us your thoughts on that game today. Who stood out to you?
Well, I'm glad it's over. Let's start with that. It is spring training, and we never can lose sight of that. But they're playing the regulars quite a bit. Flores to me looks like, he's rejuvenated a little bit. We have to keep saying this over and over again. It is spring training and it's March the 9th, and we've got a long way to go. But I thought Flores looks spry to me. He looks like he's moving better. Good. The left side of the infield always looks good. Ramos ran out of his shoe today, but he let off and hit the ball against, Pivetta. Pivetta looks like a guy that doesn't throw great stuff, but after the fifth inning, you say, God, we only have one run off him? He's that kind of pitcher. Yastrzemski came, he had a good at bat, I thought, when runners in scoring position. Hicks, for me, looked like he was just working today, not pitching, but he was looking for his breaking ball here and there. They had to take him out of an inning. He couldn't finish. I thought I saw more fastballs from him and not necessarily the velocity he had the last time out. So I think it was more of a workout for him. But basically, when you play the Giants, you're playing the regulars. Today was a split squad day, and they do this split squad so other teams can have home games, because home games on Sunday sell out. And today they had 9,600, I think, at Scottsdale. And in Sloan Park, where the Cubs and Giants played, they had 13,000. So they try split squads all over the valley because they want to increase attendance for the separate teams. But today was one of those games for the Giants. Just let's get through spring training. Nobody got hurt. Hicks took one off looked like the heel, ball up the middle. But basically, Lee was Lee in center field. And the one thing I will say for March 9th, the regulars are playing a lot. And today was a split squad game, so you didn't have all the backups, to put in. But Bob Melvin is starting to sort of enjoy this opening day lineup stuff. And we're starting to see a lot of it. Chapman made a heck of a play deep behind third base. Very nice. That was really nice.
He's phenomenal defensively.
Yeah. We talked about it. Bruce Jenkins and I talked about it this morning. Where does he fit in when it's all over? Hall of Famer, borderline Hall of Famer. Who is he? But as Bruce said, he's just had a lot of years that didn't really measure up with the bat. Mm-hmm. But the glove is, the Brooks Robinson kind of glove, Greg Nettles kind of glove, and all that. But he's better than I thought, I must tell you. It's kind of fun to watch Chapman play. And Adames, so far, so good. We haven't seen him, make any spectacular plays or, say, wow, that's Ozzie Smith Jr., Mm-hmm. But he seems to get to the ball, and Chapman helps him a lot because Chapman covers a lot of ground. So for me, it was Sunday, another Sunday. We can check off the calendar. And the Giants are 10-3 now, I think. So they're playing decent ball. There's a good attitude around the ball club. There's no question. Posey helps. So that's my little synopsis of today. I kind of stopped watching after a while. Once I saw Hicks was really the one I wanted to see because that's the guy they need to rely on. And today was not his day. And I think you saw the Roop game. Roop thought Roop did not do well today. Is that correct?
No, they hit him pretty decent. He gave up, I believe his line was 5 runs in 3 2/3 innings,
7 hits.
7 hits, yeah. They got to him a little bit earlier. And the 5th run, I don't know. It's technically his run, but he hit a guy in the 4th inning and left with 2 outs, and Lucchesi hit a guy barely, and then he moved him to second, and then he gave up a hit. So, you got to give the run to Roop, but Lucchesi should have been able to shut that down. Marty, what do you think of the lineup today? You saw Wade. We saw Wade over in the Cubs game, and they batted Ramos at the leadoff spot. I think we could see that possibly against left-handed pitchers when they face a lefty, because obviously Wade probably won't be in there, and if they want to get Flores and possibly Encarnacion both in the lineup, I kind of like Ramos because he's a threat to steal.
Yeah, I kind of like Fitzgerald in that spot.
I do too. Yeah,
I like both. Yeah, I'd rather move him up. But to your point, Ramos hammers lefties. He does.
Yeah.
He hammers lefties, and he does have a little bit of speed. It'd be a nice experiment. It's 162 games. It's 6 months, and if they want to try him out in that top spot to see what he can do against left-handed pitching, why not? Fitzgerald would be the guy for me, because if he can improve on last year, this is a guy who could steal 50.
What do you think it's going to come down to? I mean, to me, the last roster spot looks like it's going to be between Wisely and Schmidt. And I think Wisely probably has the upper hand because he's a lefty. They don't have many left-handed bats, but Schmidt is quietly starting to produce. He went 2 for 3 today with a home run. He's now hitting 286, and I think he has 3 home runs. And I think that might be tied for the team lead, or maybe Chapman has 4. I'm not sure.
He's got 4.
Okay. But Schmidt quietly has some pop. I mean, and he made a nice play at third, a nice sliding play in the hole, got up, threw to first to get the easy out. I think the Giants are in a good situation having Casey Schmidt, whether he's on the bench or if he's in Sacramento, if they need him. He's a guy you can plug in. If for some reason Chapman is out for a period of time, you don't lose. I mean, probably I'm thinking Giants might have the best third base situation in all of baseball if Schmidt is your backup.
Well, I think Schmidt, the question is, do you want him in Sacramento playing every day? Where are you going to play him? You can play him at third, short, second in Sacramento. Wisely is a left-handed hitter, which you bring up a good point, and that is something in his favor. I like Schmidt as a ball player, but this is spring training, and they may want to go with the lefty off the bench. Fitzgerald is the second baseman, but why would you ever take him out, for Schmidt? I mean, unless you're going to pinch hit with a lefty for Fitzgerald, and then maybe Schmidt would get in the game. But that's a good question. Talking to people down here, they do seem to think that Wisely has the upper hand simply because he hits left-handed.
Right.
But Schmidt has been terrific down here. Terrific.
He has been. Marty, what about the bullpen? We haven't really talked too much about the bullpen. I saw it was nice to see Eric Miller come out yesterday. It was nice to see him come out and throw some.
Yeah.
Do you see any battles going on there with the bullpen? Are you concerned about the bullpen?
Well, not really. I mean, they have Miller, and they just have to be careful with him because he had pitched a lot of innings last year and a lot of games. He was up and down quite a bit. Romero pitched today. They seem to like him, but he's older. And I think, for whatever it's worth, I think a trade is coming at the end of spring training because they've got a lot of players. VR's one out of options. I think someone's going to have a lefty reliever that they're going to have to get off their roster. And I think the Giants may take a shot at something like that. I think that, I'd say let's wait before making that decision until the end of spring.
So you want to have that second lefty then, right?
I like 2 lefties because if you use one in the 5th inning, you may need one later in the game. So I like having 2 lefties. So we'll see what they do with that. It's a good question. They have a lot of right-handed relievers. Look, Trevino, and I wasn't really watching when he pitched today. He walked a couple, but talking to some of the coaches and people down there, if Trevino is healthy, that's an arm they like, and he could jump ahead of Randy Rodriguez really, and he could break with the club. He's a veteran.
I've also heard Trevino has an option in his contract that he has to be on the 40-man roster by the end of March, or he's a free agent.
Yeah, that may put him on this team. You see, what happens at the end of spring training are options, because you don't want to lose assets. You don't want to lose assets. They got into that fix with Joey Bart. You know,
Right.
you know, if the guy has an option, you option him and keep the guy who doesn't have an option. You know, that always happens at the end of spring training. So Trevino could end up on the team. They like
and he's also he's one of Melvin's favorites from the A's days.
Yeah, look, they need a loaded bullpen. I don't know what they're going to do with Keaton Winn. I'd rather have Keaton Winn start for me than bring him out of the bullpen because he had arm trouble last year. I'd rather have him on a regiment where you know what he's going to give you and you give him a shot to do it. I'd like to have him as the fifth guy. I'd send Harrison out. I'd send Birdsong out. And I would put Roop in the bullpen with Jelly on the right side.
Do you see any trades coming from any of the starting pitching depth that they have?
Read my mind, Dan.
Yeah. Not necessarily. I think it'd be a minor league deal. They're not going to trade Wynn or Birdsong or, Harrison or anything like that. Harrison's next couple of starts will be interesting to see what he's got.
Yeah.
The velocity dip and all that stuff. Birdsong is still, they're all young pitchers. You got to throw the ball down. You've got to pitch. Like Hicks today didn't really pitch. He was throwing the ball. To be a starter in the big leagues, like Keaton Winn, he pitches. He's just not a power guy throwing the ball up there. He's got the split. He's got a fastball. He's got something to rely on. So to answer your question, I don't think a trade would be of any of those guys because I think they're very valuable and you need them during the season. But in the lower minor leagues, you have people that could go.
Yeah, I think what you're thinking of, Dan, right? And I think you got the news from the New York Yankees. They got Luis Hill. He's going to be out for 3 months. It looks like Garrett Cole is getting an MRI on his elbow. He may wind up. He's kind of following the same line as DeGrom. Me and Dan were talking about that, and it's probably more. It's going to happen. He's going to eventually have to get Tommy John. So we're wondering, hey, maybe something happens with the Yankees, but I don't know. I guess you're kind of saying maybe hold on to these guys.
Yeah, you got to go through the roster and see who's got 3 or 4 lefties on their 40-man and who's close to being in camp and how these things are going to come together. Well, they haven't made deals yet.
No, they haven't.
All the good things about Buster and the attitude and the way they play and all that. Now's the time you may have to, have Ned Colletti say something, that type of veteran office guy.
Yes.
And of course, they rely on stats quite a bit. They do, in evaluating players. But I would think if there's a trade, it would be from the lower minor leagues or a VR and try to get a lefty back. Because really, when you look at the pitching, they have everything they need other than a lefty reliever, really.
Right.
Lefts.
What do you think of this, Marty? It's something that I proposed recently, and the Giants have had a history of overvaluing some of their better prospects, and then all of a sudden their value just drops.
Yeah,
we saw it with Bart. We've seen it with Luciano. We can go back to the Chris Shaws, the Christian Arroyos, whatever. They're just endless. Kyle Harrison's value is still pretty high right now when you look at the trade machine value. He's got, and I'm thinking, like, if he has a rough year, that value could really drop. And why not trade him to someone like Miami who values young people under control and they don't like to carry guys past their arbitration? They've got Sandy Alcantara, who's got 2 years remaining plus a club option, and they're paying him $17 million. And Miami, doesn't want to pay anything. They could get Harrison and another youngster or two, and Alcantara would come over, a guy that pitches 200 plus innings before his Tommy John. He's like a Logan Webb, and that helps your bullpen out. You get guys like Webb and Alcantara at the top of the rotation, then all of a sudden you plug in the veteran Verlander and Ray behind that. that's a team that could make a wild card push.
Yeah, I just don't see him at the Alcantara stage yet. And Harrison has potential, but if the Marlins wanted to trade Alcantara, the Giants really wanted to make a move and give up a lot of young talent to get him, you'd have to listen. You certainly would have to listen. But Harrison, he's how old is he? 23? I don't know. He's
23.
I think he's 23.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, come on. These guys, he's a lefty too. Lefties go till they're 37. And he's got that potential. He's got a good fastball, even though the velocity was down here. I'm not sure who he is yet. I'm not sure the Marlins would take him. Maybe they would. But if you could get Alcantara, why not? I'd love it. I'd love it.
Man, that would be something. I mean, because
2 top 5 pitchers in the National League.
Yeah,
and Webb and
Alcantara is a guy who's going to bring some talent back. Nobody's giving him away. And
right.
Are the Giants ready to contend? Are they really ready to contend with this team, with Ramos and Bailey and Fitzgerald and Fitzpatrick and whoever you want to put in the pitches?
As I've said with this team, it's kind of a funny team, and it's a team to me that if everything went just perfectly, health, guys had productive years, they could conceivably surprise people and win 90 games. But it's also a team that if things don't go well, could lose 90 games. It's that type of team. It's not like the Mets or the Phillies, the Braves, the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, or the Cubs. I don't see any of those teams capable of really losing 90 games. But the Giants, they're right there in the middle. And 8-10 games one direction or the other, you're at 90 or you're at 70 wins, that's where the Giants kind of feel to me. I do think it is going to be a better brand of baseball, whether they are 500 or not this year. You
have to see what you got. You got to see what you got. Really, Fitzgerald the guy. Is he the guy? Is Ramos the guy? Is Jung-Hoo Lee the guy? What's going to happen in right? Is Matos ready to be a guy? Is Bailey going to be a guy? And that's why this is one of those seasons where they went out and got Adames and Verlander and then didn't do anything else, because I think they have to decide who they have, who are their guys. And that may be the interesting part of this season. And we're going to have to be patient. I know, you want to have it over in April, by April 5th, you want to know if they're going to come in first, second, third, or fourth. Doesn't work like that.
No judgments before Derby Day. No judgments before Derby Day.
I said until the peaches are on the trees.
There you go. Yeah, the
peaches, in June.
60 games to me is you have to go at least 60 games before you can make a fair assessment of where they could land. I looked at their schedule. It's pretty brutal. The beginning of April, March, April. If you look at, they've got the Mets, they've got the not the Mets, but the Yankees in there. They open up in Cincinnati and Houston. They have a road trip to New York and 7 games to New York and 3 in New York, 4 in Philly.
That second road trip is going to be a killer.
Yeah. So I counted it. They're 31 games.
I mean, you got to play the games.
Right.
Maybe they'll
31
be okay.
games. 31 games through April. If they're 15 or 14 and 17, I could live with that based on that schedule. But if they're, 11 and 19, that's rough. So I just hope
you're right. You only have 132 more games.
Yeah, I just hope they're within 2 or 3 games of 500.
32 games.
Yeah, but you don't want to get 8-9 games below 500 and get behind the 8 ball. You still have time to catch up.
Look, it may happen. It may happen, but you can't get crazy in April. You just can't.
No. I mean, we saw the Nationals.
If you're 11 and 19, and all of a sudden you go 7 and 1, now you're 18 and 20. and now you're happy again.
True.
Right.
I mean, we saw the Washington Nationals.
Look,
they were under 500.
It's good to play teams that don't know how bad they are early in the season. It's maybe the Giants are one of those teams. Maybe they're going to get out of the gate and feel really good about themselves and go out and win a lot of the games you're talking about. Then over 162, maybe they'll wear down and they won't be there. But there's a rhythm to a baseball season. And the thing is, I've said it on the air for 30 years, you just have to let the thing breathe. And there's a word I use. It's called a mosaic. And you got to let the mosaic play out and see where it's going to go. And it may be trades mid-season. There may be injuries. I don't know. Everyone's putting the Padres down. Heck, they should be a team of 87 to 90 wins. Right. Arizona, who knows if they'll be healthy the whole way. The Dodgers, it's crazy. They're in a tough league, the Giants. They're in a tough league, and everyone has to realize it. So let's see how they play. They may not be any good. They may be good. But if you can pitch, you can win. If you can't pitch, you can't win.
That's right. That's right.
If you can pitch and catch the ball, which they apparently are better at doing, those are two of the three things. Then you've got to have the breakthroughs. The guys who, yes, Ramos, yes, he's a good player. Not only is he a good player, but he hit 27 home runs. And yes, Fitzgerald is a good player, and he really did steal 60 bases. And we're not making them Hall of Famers, but you just want to have some established major leaguers like a Jackson Churio or a Jackson Merrill, guys like that. You want to have young players who are impact players, and it may take time to really see what the Giants have. But along the way, if they can pitch along the way, it smooths it out so you can see what the other guys can do. If they can't pitch, then you're right, 11-19, and you got pitching injuries and guys are getting lit up. You say, this is not good. But if you're 11-19 and your run differential is, a -6, okay, we've had some bad breaks along the way. So I say love spring training, just love it. And let's see where it goes. And every day we'll have a story.
Marty, have you met the number 1 Giants fan in America, Robert Rothberg?
Robert,
says
I've not met Robert.
Much talent to have a losing record. He's over. I think Robert. He's been with us for a while. Both he follows Giant Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network. I think he does. He's over. He's a longtime Giants fan. He's about 74 years old, but he says the Giants. Don't pay attention to the odds. The Giants will once again prove the analysts wrong again. Maybe. But Robert hasn't been right in 3 years. So, but he keeps coming back at us, and we love Robert for that. He's the kind of dad you want to have, because I tell Robert, he's the guy that is always encouraging his kids. It's okay, Johnny. Don't worry about it. You're going to make it. I believe in you. And that's why we love Robert Rothberg.
Hey, yeah. Dan, real quick, speaking of fans, Marty, maybe you remember this. This is a while back. There's a guy in our chat by the name of Senior Softball Games. His son is the little boy right there named Charlie. He had the giant birthmark, and I guess you had a little interview with him. God, this must have been maybe 6 years ago, somewhere around.
Where'd you find that?
From Senior Softball Games. He's in our chat, but that's the little fella. He was the one that was Mini Pence. Do you remember Mini Pence?
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's the little boy right there. His name's Charlie.
Oh, do you have the Mini Pence, the home run balls?
I got here. You know what? I could grab it.
This kid can hit the ball. I love his swing.
Cute. No, cute.
Yeah,
this kid can hit the ball. I played ball since I was like 5 years old. This kid has a swing that looks to me. I mean, it's early, but he's got a swing that could go to higher levels.
We love watching. We love watching kids enjoy baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
I enjoy watching Jung-Hoo Lee play. I really do. He saw a lot of breaking balls today. A lot of I don't think they threw him too many fastballs today. So this is the Padres testing him out. and they threw him breaking ball after breaking ball after breaking ball today. So we'll see how the league deals with him and how he deals with that. So that was an eye opener for me today to watch the Padres work on him. And
how
then
did he fare?
He fouled off a ton of them, and then they froze him on a beautiful curveball right over the curve or whatever, a slider, whatever it was. It broke right over the plate, and he just took it for strike 3. But it looked like a 10-pitch at bat. He just kept fouling the ball off.
That's good.
Let's see. He can hit the fastball. It's a lot of ground balls, but he's got to hit the breaking pitch too. I love him. He's just a lot of fun to watch.
Zips has him projected hitting about 291 this year. Where do you think that's high, or I got him around 282, 285, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I want to see him play, but I think he's got there's some pop in the bat. There's contact, ball to bat contact, bat to ball contact. So a lot of that, and he can run. Hits the ball on the ground a little bit too much for me. I like to see him lift the ball a little bit more, some line drives to different parts of the park. But he's fun. He's fun. Yeah. Look, this is all good. As I said to someone today when I left the park, you can have spring training and say, boy, this team's got trouble. Or you can leave the park and say, hey, maybe the Giants can do better. Maybe they'll be better. And that's where I'm at. It's spring training, and I'm not leaving the park saying, boy, this team, they stink. They're never going to win 80 games. And I always say, when I leave spring training, can the team win 90? That's the goal for me. I can't say they can win 90. I'm not at that point yet. But I think they could be in the 80s. So that's the way
we're all three of us thinking the same thing, I think.
Yeah, so that's the way I leave the park. It's spring training. You feel good. No one's hurt. Keaton Wynn could be a big deal coming back. They've got some good depth. The division is a killer. The league is very tough. It's a very tough league. And if there are 10 or 11 teams, possibly for one of those 6 spots, they're probably 9th, 10th, or 11th in the list. So they've got a ways to go. They have a ways to go. But when I leave the park, I don't say, oh, my God, this is not going to be good this year. No, not at all. They're well above that.
Yeah, it's pleasantly surprising to see that. And I do think what I picked up, and I see it from the players, I see it just watching, that there's a different mindset attitude-wise. I think people are more comfortable in what's expected. They're going to know their roles. I don't see this regime jerking guys up and down for coming up for series to gain a platoon advantage for 2 or 3 games.
Who would do that?
No, well, he's not here.
Yes. That what was his name again? Yes.
I can't remember.
Yeah. That's not. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either.
Injuries are the big thing. You want where's the outfield depth really? Is it Meckler, McRae, and Matos? Is that it?
Encarnacion.
Well, he's a DH for me.
Yeah, he is, but he's also a spot corner outfielder.
You want to try to spot him as far away from the ball as possible.
He's a big dude.
He's a DH, and really, you're asking for trouble to put. It's like Vladdy at the end of his career. Remember in the World Series, Vladdy in right field?
Yeah. Now he's out of options, Marty, so he's going to make the team.
He's on the team.
Do you think him and Flores are kind of duplicates? Because they both can play first base. They both are right-handed hitters.
He is going to be the DH, and I'll guarantee you he's going to be the DH, and Flores and Wade will split off on first base. I don't think they're looking to put Encarnacion in the field yet. He's going to be the DH, in my opinion. He's good. He can hit. And now let's see if he can hit at the big league level for a season.
Yeah. Do you have Huff over Stassi for the backup catcher?
Yes, because he's on the 40 man.
That's right. That's right. He's on the 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see Murphy going on the 60-day IL and VR being traded or waived or whatever to open up 2 roster spots on the 40, which I think are going to be for Trevino and maybe one of the lefties in camp on the bullpen. I don't know, unless they make a trade for a lefty.
Could be. Someone wants to know if I saw Bryce infield work. No, I didn't.
You haven't? Okay.
I did talk to Wotus enough about it, and Matt Williams, and JT Snow we had on the show. So there's a lot of footwork, a lot of work that he's got to learn. There's a pitcher and a DH, and they're trying to teach him. But I want this guy's bat to really be tested. That's what you got to. Can he hit? And can he hit for a season? And that's the big key for him. Because, probably blocked Alonso from coming here, because of the potential of Bryce Eldridge. So the defense is going to take some time, but the bat may not take as much time. Now, in spring training, he hit the big day on the Sunday, hit a couple of home runs or hit one 450 feet, and he struck out the next 9 times.
Right.
So let him, God help him. And he's there, Luciano, and let them get their at-bats at Sacramento. And don't worry, leave him alone. Don't worry about him.
Marty, any talk about Eldridge with any of the other Giants front office or staff of him playing in the outfield? Bryce Eldridge, there's an interview of him saying he loved playing the outfield in high school. He played some center field, but feels like he has the athleticism to play in the outfield and be really a good outfielder. Giants seem to have really botched the Luciano situation for years. I hope they're not going to try and make some, a round peg fit into a square hole or however that goes.
Well, I know they're not exactly, inventing a position at first base. I mean, there's been a lot of guys who played first base who were Hall of Famers who couldn't move and couldn't do anything, but they could hit, but they could be serviceable at first base. So you'd like to, at least, if that's the most likely position from
you have that, Eric?
Teach him.
I could grab it. I'm trying to remember where it was. I think
teach him how to play first base. You don't want guys in the outfield, first base, DH and all that. Give them a position to learn. And if they assume first base is the position, leave them there and let them learn it. Yeah, this is a kid. This kid's 20. He's just out of high school.
Right.
What are you going to do? Put him in right field? Now, is he Jackson Churio? No. Is he, Merrill? No. Is he Soto? No. He's not a star. He's not Kyle Tucker. Let the kid grow. Put him in AAA and let him slap the ball around. If you can't do that consistently, put him in AA and he's only 20.
I got a feeling he might start the first month or two in Richmond.
Nah, well, I don't know. We'll see. That's a good discussion to have at the end of spring training.
Yeah.
Let's see how he does in the minor league camp, truthfully. They all report, I think, next week or maybe tomorrow. And then they're going to start playing games. And let's see how he plays.
Yeah.
We're going
I got the clip if you wanted to watch it, Dan. It's up to you. I don't know.
Well, it's just 2-3 minute clip.
It's not. I don't think it's even that long. It's very.
Yeah, play that clip. Short. This is Bryce Eldridge talking about his play in the outfield.
I know you've dealt with some small nagging injuries this spring, but when you're at your best, you're in center field. You're manning the deepest part of the yard. I think not enough is said about your ability to cover center field, and I want to give you the opportunity to speak on how important it is for you to continue playing the outfield and kind of throw away these narratives that, eventually you'll have to move on to the dirt.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, I know I'm athletic enough to be out there. I haven't got much experience this year, obviously, just because Like you said, there's an injury nagging on, but I do play first base really well, but I see myself, 100% being in the outfield next level. People might not think a 6'7" guy can run or move, but I can move very well for my size. I'm athletic. So yeah, I'm really trying to get that part of my game down in the outfield. I think next level, I think it would be more realistic being in the corner outfield spot. But yeah, I'm excited to keep moving on my journey in the outfield. I've haven't got much out there this year, but yeah, it's gonna be good in the future.
There it is.
Yeah, good for him. Let's see. That's right. Why you have major league coaches, and his journey has started.
It's just begun. Yeah,
that was before he got drafted, and that's a wonderful interview. I can't wait to see him be an impact player.
Yes.
It didn't quite happen in spring training the way we hoped it would, but heck, if he can be an impact player, if he starts in Double-A, then the Triple-A, whatever it is, this is a kid you have to be patient with. You have to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marty, I loved what Glenn Kuiper had to say on your show on Marty Lurie and Friends. Make sure you guys go like and subscribe Marty's channel. It's fantastic. Great interviews, great baseball talk. When he talked about he didn't play any other position other than just baseball, and he doesn't have that foundational footwork as you mentioned earlier. So maybe that's something that's going to have to be looked at, of course, while he's in the minor leagues. And I just hope the Giants, they make that decision early. Could you see them? I mean, he's really young. You really don't want to have a young guy DH, but maybe in a September call-up, do you think maybe they just have him come up just to have his bat in play as far as a September call-up?
Well, what did he do in up till September?
Right. That's the thing we don't know. Correct.
Yeah, that's why we love this. Let's see. Come on, man. Let's see where he goes. Let's see how he hits. Let's see how he plays. I hope he doesn't get injured. And it's a great thing to have someone like this in the organization. Mm-hmm. Again, you could have a list in the organization, and your number one prospect is Wade Meckler. But they have some people here. Thank you. Subscribe to Marty Lurie and Friends on YouTube. Yes. Dan, have you subscribed yet?
Of course. I was one of your first subscribers.
Thank you. All right. You're not a bot. All right. Very good.
There you go. See, Marty knows.
Marty's learning bots. Yeah, he's learning the terms.
I like it. I love doing the show. We're supposed to have Sean Jelly and Landon Roop on this week.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. I Jelly for sure. And I said, get a friend. I want to get a friend. I'm going to let you do the questioning. And he said, how about him? And he pointed to Roop. I said, okay, Roop's cool. So I hope we'll probably do it Thursday. Be on Pacific time. So it'll be 6:00 Pacific Thursday. And so I'm hoping, because it's a home game. Jelly and I looked at the schedule already. I like Jelly on the air. He's a pretty natural guy. He suffers in Kentucky sports. But he's a good guy. He has a nice personality on the air.
Yeah, I saw your interview with him. He was great.
And Anthony says, Marty, your granddaughter has an awesome voice.
Yeah, isn't it something? Yeah, that's Ruby Barmay, and she just belts it out. She wrote that opening song, and she recorded it. And you guys, Eric and Ryan, did something behind the voice and all that. And thank you very much, Anthony, for saying that. I think she's terrific.
I need a new opening. Can she sing for me? NorCal.
She is going to be in a play in about 2 weeks, and after that, she'll have some time, and I'll put her in touch with you. She's good.
There you go.
She's really good. It's a good voice. All right, thank you very much, Anthony.
Yeah, send those guys over here too. Yeah, and we can use some jelly and I always like
for it. Yeah.
But, it's fun to have him on. I want to try to get Lamont on too.
Oh, Lamont Wade's a great interview. Yeah, I interviewed him a couple years ago in spring training. The guy's actually he's very low key, very soft spoken, but he's pretty funny. I talked to him about superstitions, and
that's right.
He said in fact, I could probably play the interview sometime, but he he said if he gets a hit, he won't shave and he won't change the socks he wore or anything else that he wore the game before. I said, what, will you wash him? No, I don't even wash him. So I said to him, I said, so if you get into a big hitting streak, you can start looking like John Brebbia, your beard. He says, that's the goal.
All right. John Brebbia is back. Where's it? The Tigers? I think he's with the Tigers.
I think he's with the Tigers, yeah.
Yeah, John Brebbia, when you see him in spring training, he was perfectly clean shaven. Perfect. And I said, gee, you look so different. He says, as of spring training, once I get here, I do not shave again.
Yeah.
And what you see is what you end up seeing at the end of the season of John Brebbia. He's a character. He was a character. He was fun to have on. Yeah, I like Lamont. I like Fitzgerald. I like having him on.
Get Casey and Fitz. I've been trying to get both of them together. They're actually, it's interesting because they're competing in a way for the same position, but they're close friends. Yeah, we'll see. But it's fun to have some of them on from time to time. I want to have Ryan Christensen on. He's the bench coach, and he's been around. I saw his whole career. When I started in this thing in '96, he got up to the big leagues maybe a year or two later. I saw his whole career. I got to know him when he got married and the whole thing. And I've watched him for a long time. He's a great baseball man. I got to sit last night at I got invited to the dinner with Garvin Alston last night. He's a good guy to have on. He's
Bullpen coach, right?
Yeah, he's really on it. He's very good. So I was with him last night, and I like bringing different personalities onto the show. I really do. I think that's what it's all about. Today on the radio, I had Mark Simon. Do you know Mark?
Mark Simon?
Sports Info Solutions. So we'll get him on the YouTube show as well.
Oh, great.
Because the Sunday show, I have an hour. And, if I have Mark Simon on, then Bruce Jenkins and Wotus, that's the hour.
There it is.
If it's Joe Sheehan, I want to have Joe Sheehan on. And then once the season starts, I saw Jesse Agler today from the Padres, the broadcaster. He wants to come on. I've got Glenn Kuiper to come on, Kerry Crowley. So there's a lot to do on YouTube, and there's a lot to do on KMBR, but it really is limited because I want to have Wotus and Jenkins every Sunday. So there's only one open spot because you can't really jam 4 in an hour. But 3, then you get like 12 to 13, 14 minutes with each one.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good.
A lot of baseball knowledge there. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it's fun. Look, we'll wait as the season unfolds. As I say, to do these shows now are very good because they're very optimistic.
Right.
I've been in spring training and looked at teams and said, man, there's no way this is happening. And I can't say that with this team. The only thing that worries me about this team are injuries. Yeah. And significant injuries to a center fielder again, to a Chapman or Adames, Bailey. Those are things that are going to be tough to overcome. Even at first base, they're putting a lot of eggs in the Wade basket, really. Those legs better hold up. His knee better hold up. And when he goes first to third, I worry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He looks like a hamstring waiting to happen. But he looks, what do I know? Nothing. He looks like he's in better shape.
Yeah. Well, what's the next show? Wednesday night, Marty?
I think it's going to be Thursday. I like the Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah, it's a home game. So let's see, because I asked Jelly, because you don't want to do, if I'm going to have him on, you don't want to do it on a road game.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday's the 13th, Texas at home. So
you might not have a game that day. The forecast is heavy rains that day.
Really, for the 13th?
Yeah. I've got tickets for the game over here on the west side between, I think it's Diamondbacks and Padres.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at my schedule here. So we got Texas. The weekend Sunday game, or the A's, that is the Sunday game in Scottsdale. So that'll be that. And then the next Sunday game for me is the 23rd, and that's in I think it's Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento.
Right?
Sacramento.
Yep, 2 weeks from today, they're in Sacramento.
How about that? I mean, seriously, we're going to be. I love the baseball season.
Mhm.
It's fabulous because we get a story every day. I saw Ned Colletti last night.
Oh, nice.
Good. Yeah, I saw Ned. It was great to see him. Saw Joey Amalfitano last night. Bonus baby of the New York Giants in 1954. And I think I was the only one in the room that actually saw him play. Of about 200 people, I think I was the only one who.
I saw Joey play.
Did you see Joey Amalfitano play in New York?
In the 60s?
Well, it was 1954.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought he played in the 60s.
He did. He played a little bit for Houston in the 60s.
Okay.
He was one of the first draft picks of the Colt 45s.
Yeah.
And then I think he probably lasted another year or two. But I saw him last night talking about Leo DeRocher stories. There's just so much in baseball. Dave Righetti was there last night. Talked to Joe Panic last night.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. We have a world that you're afraid to turn the TV on, without getting into politics. You just never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Baseball, you never know what's going to happen, but it's an okay that you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like
Has Crawford been in camp at all this year?
I've not seen him at all. But the story I heard last night from Joey Amalfitano was a good one about Crawford and how much the pitchers love Crawford. And Joey told me that the pitchers would go to Bochy. This is before Crawford really got established, and tell Bochy, when the bus leaves for the ballpark, Crawford better be on it. That's how much they wanted him to be the shortstop behind him. And who was it? Bumgarner with Pablo. Wotus tells a good story about that.
Heard a great story today in the Padres Giants game on the radio with John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper. Ball hit out to right field to Yaz. He ran over and caught it near the foul line. And they said, hitting a fly ball to right field is like hitting a ground ball to Crawford. It's when Yaz is out there, you just kind of feel pretty good about it. He is an excellent right fielder. He's one of the best in the game.
Yes, he is. He had a nice at bat today, second and third, less than 2 out. And he worked it and worked it and worked it. I said, come on, put the ball in play. I want that runner to score. And Encarnacion was on deck. And he got a walk. And he didn't chase something high and away. And he didn't fall for a breaking ball, didn't get out in front of it and pop it up. He had a nice at bat today. I think, was it against Waldron maybe? I forget who it was against. But it was a major league pitcher. Maybe it was Pivetta, I forget. But yeah, Yaz that was an at bat I wanted to watch today. I'm trying to watch the at bats when you have a runner on third with less than 2 out to see what they do. When I watch the game, I'm waiting for those kind of at bats to see what happens, and that's baseball for me.
Man, Senior, I got to tell you, I'm a little envious. Living the dream, man. I had 4 daughters, and my son loved football, but could not swing a bat. In fact, when I took him golfing once, he broke my club head on my driver. Just put it right in the
dirt.
Right in the dirt.
Sod, I should say.
It's just dangling my club head. So he was a strong guy, and he loved playing football, and he was tough. He could play the defensive line and the offensive line. He'd take you places down the. I told him when I was watching him, I was kind of helping him coach the football team, and I said, "Look, the coach's son is playing linebacker, and he's gonna play. He's favoring him, and I want you to take him, and I want you to drive him all the way down the field until you hear the whistle." And he drove him 50 yards down the field. Just it looked like the blocking shed drill. He just took him out, and I said, "Just keep doing that. They'll notice you, son."
I love the stories are great.
Yes,
Stories
absolutely.
are
And as
great.
Senior said, there's nothing like having a kid who loves it just as much as you do. That's my reality right now. That's freaking awesome, man. That is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's nothing like baseball. This is my favorite time of the year. When I played as a kid, the smell of the cut grass. I just loved it. I played the infield, and it just that grass smell every day. I was one of those kids that loved to just go to practice. You're playing baseball. And that's the thing that I don't understand. I understand it's a business, but baseball, the one thing that baseball has failed, in my opinion, is they've had more strikes or work stoppages than any other sport. And I understand it. It's a business and the union's strong, but you're playing baseball. You're getting paid millions to go play baseball. I would have played the game minimum wage, whatever the minimum salary is. I wasn't obviously good enough, but I just love to play. And unfortunately, I know it's early, but be prepared for a work stoppage because I think it's coming in December of 26. All signs are pointing to it. They're going to fight like crazy, the union and the owners, over a salary cap. And we may not have baseball. This may be the last 2 years of baseball. We could lose baseball in the 20. I know that's a long ways away, but it goes fast. I guess my point is enjoy this season because and the next season because it may stop for a while.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't think they'll ever turn this into the NFL and the NBA with a salary cap. They're never going to open their books to the union. They're never going to do anything. Baseball is the way it was in 1870, and it hasn't changed at all. And nothing's going to make it change. And the Yankees don't want to share revenue with the Pirates, and the Dodgers don't want to share revenue, with the
Marlins or the Rays.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And that's the big problem now, that they could have a floor where you have to spend so much, but they're going through a lot of changes with the regional networks. They're crying the blues of not having all this extra money coming in. But the analytics have changed the game as to, getting a player who's 30 or 31 and, valuing them. And, they have a salary cap now. If you think about it, and I saw this somewhere, first 3 years, they control it, right? So you could be the greatest player. There are some incentives now if you win Rookie of the Year and all that. But how many people do that? 2?
Mm-hmm.
So the first 3 years, they got you. Now, it's not like they're giving you 12 cents an hour, but they got you for $750,000 for the first 3 years. Then the next 3 years, they have arbitration. So they know how much they're going to pay you. You're not going to break the bank for $100 million in years 4, 5, and 6. It's not going to happen. They know how much they're going to have to pay out. So now you become a free agent. Well, how many free agents get $100 million contracts? 6, 10, 12 out of 700 players? So baseball doesn't need a salary cap. They got one. They've got one now, and the players are under the gun because baseball controls the salaries. Look at, sure, Garrett Cole's going to get money, and Soto's going to get money, and Ohtani's going to get money. And you can make a list of 30 people who are going to get money. But you've got 30 teams and 26 on it, 780 players. So they really have the salaries controlled right now. They don't need a salary cap. They don't need it because they'll pay whatever they want to the stars. But everybody else fends for themselves.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Hey, before we get out of here, we'll close with this. I want to ask you guys this. Are you surprised that this guy does not have a job? He's only 28. Nobody signed him this year. And to me,
surprising. No one signed that Verdugo?
I know his
No one signed
defense.
him.
His defense is kind of.
I mean, he's going to be 29 here in a couple months, but surprisingly, I mean, Brandon Belt got squeezed out of the game possibly a year early, maybe not. I mean, I thought he had a pretty decent year a few years ago with Toronto, and then he didn't get signed, but he was in his mid-30s, had an injury history. Alex Verdugo's 28 years old and has had some productive seasons. Didn't have a great season last year, but it's just surprised that 30 teams, nobody's taken a shot on him.
I'm with you.
Just weird. It seems like there's always somebody that gets squeezed out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's going to have an outfielder go down. I would think he might be one of the guys that gets called up. So, I mean, he was in the trade for Mookie Betts.
Yeah, he had a nice. Right. He was a Dodger, and he had a nice postseason last year, didn't he? He got a few big hits.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. That's a head scratcher.
Yeah, it really is. I could get it. I get it if he's 34. 28 years old.
Yeah, I know that's a little weird.
That's weird. But hey, guys, we're going to end it here. Thanks to Marty Lurie. Make sure you go and check out his channel over on YouTube. It's relatively new and it's growing fast. Mm-hmm. And he has great shows once a week. It's called Marty Lurie and Friends. Go over there and subscribe to it. The link is actually in this chat, I believe. So you can get it there if you're watching. But if you're watching this later, as we're up here on YouTube indefinitely, go ahead and check out Marty's channel. Tonight at 8:00, just in 2.5 hours, Eric and I will be back with our co-host and we call it Hot Corner. It's a show that's Giants Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network. And we'll be talking Giants baseball. Who knows where this thing goes tonight, but
man, you never know.
Giants Hot Corner. And thanks again to Marty. And we'll definitely be having Marty back on during the year. So you'll get a chance to hear from him as he joins us from time to time and gives us his wonderful years of experience and insight into the game. So thank you, Marty. We really appreciate that. And we will see you guys tonight, everybody. Take care.
Yeah, Marty.